What up, everyone? You now tuned in to Chief Sebi Indigenous. Hiya, power back in the booth. All right. I'm going to start the video. Okay. Before I start it, I want to just say this video is called Harvest of Shame. And it's called Harvest because, harvest is when you're tip when you're harvesting your crops, right? Basically, they're showing you this genetic process or this selection process, this process of selection to choose how they wanted to make this reality. You get what I'm saying? And this reality, I'm talking about this thing that we call America. Like, this is America, this thing we call America, which on paper is called the United States. But anyway, let's go straight in.
Over here, 7%. All day, John. Over here, 7% today. Pay more in the buying power. 7%. 7%. It shut up you if you pull it in. We pull what we got $11 in your pocket.
This is not taking place in the Congo. It has nothing to do with Cape Town. Niagara. This is Florida. Citizens of the United States. This is a shape-up for migrant workers.
Okay, notice he wanted you to know this isn't Nigeria, this isn't Africa, this isn't any of those places, right? Notice he wanted you to he wants the viewer to get a he wants the viewer to get a feel that this is America in the 1960s, and he's gonna I'm gonna let it keep going, but I'm gonna be stopping in at key points and just breaking some stuff down. But look who he's showing. Look at these faces. A dude there could pass for Garvey.
The hawkers are chanting the going peace rate at the various fields. This is the way the humans who harvest the food for the best fed people in the world get hired.
He said the people who harvest the food for the best fed people. So these are the people who are feeding the people who are oppressing them. So wait a second, I'm working so you can eat, so that you can oppress me and do Jim Crow laws and all of this and that. And anyway, kill us in the streets and stuff. But anyway.
One farmer looked at this and said, "We used to own our slaves. Now we just rent them."
Just another key point. Just another key point. We used to own our slaves, but now we rent them. We used to own our slaves, but now we rent them. Let me check my audio. Man, I don't even think my audio is working. My audio is working. Okay, it's working. It's working. My audio is working. Okay, it's working. It's working. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, I'm finna start it back up. Okay.
The Secretary of Labor looked and said,
I think they're the great mass of what I've called the excluded Americans. They are people who cry out workers and their children and their wives who cry out for some assistance and whose plight is a shame. It's a shame in America.
The president of the American Farm Bureau Federation, the largest farmers organization, says,
I think that most social workers would agree that it's better for a man to be employed, even if his capacity is such as to limit his income. And we take the position that it's far better to have thousands of these folks who are practically unemployable, earning some money, doing some productive work for at least a few days in the year.
this is an American story that begins in Florida and ends in New Jersey and New York State with the harvest. It is a 1960 Grapes of Wrath that begins at the Mexican border in California and ends in Oregon and Washington. It is the story of men and women and children who work 136 days of the year and average $900 a year. They travel in buses. They ride trucks. They follow the sun.
Well, I don't know. It don't look like we'll ever get ahead. I guess we'll just have to keep going till we can find something better.
A minister named Cassidy, who works with them, says,
They are just as bad as a slave. Only on name they are not a slave, but in the way they are treated, they are worse than a slave. And somebody has made thousands of dollars out of his sweat. Is that a slave or not?
they are the migrants, workers in the sweatshops of the soil, the harvest of shame.
Brought to you tonight by Philip Morris Incorporated, makers of Marlboro, filter cigarette with the unfiltered taste. Now, Edward R. Murrow.
This is CBS Reports, Harvest of Shame. It has to do with the men, women, and children who harvest the crops in this country of ours, the best fed nation on earth. These are the forgotten people, the underprotected, the undereducated, the underclothed, the underfed. We present this report on Thanksgiving because were it not for the labor of the people you are going to meet, you might not starve, but your table would not be laden with the luxuries that we have all come to regard. Some of your fellow citizens.
What up, everybody? It's Chief Sebi, Indigenous. Great to have y'all up in here. This video is called The Harvest of Shame. It's up on my channel if you want to go watch the full video, but we're gonna watch most of it. And we built a little on it last night, but they're gonna be dropping jewels. Like right now, you see this European immigrant family right here, but they're also gonna be showing like indigenous families and stuff. And just pay attention to their dialects and stuff and know that these Europeans, you know what I'm saying? When just I'll be stopping and pointing stuff out. There's a lot of stuff you can miss easily out here. But anyway, I'm gonna press play.
To harvest the food for the best fed nation on earth.
David Lowe talks to Mrs. Doby, 34 years old, mother of 9 children.
Mrs. Doby, what things do you pick up north?
We pick strawberries and cherries.
Who works with you out of this family here?
Everybody except the baby.
Who takes care of them in the field?
Well, they just kindly stay along with us or take care of themselves. The one that can't walk usually stays in the baby buggy.
What is an average dinner for the family?
Well, you mean what do we have in?
Yes.
I cook a pot of beans and fry some potatoes or some corn or something like that.
How many quarts of milk do you buy for the children?
Well, we don't have milk except maybe when we draw our paycheck, we have milk about once a week.
For all these children, you have
the
milk?
Baby has, she is on the bottle and she uses about 15 cans of milk a week, but the older children have milk about once a week.
Do they like to drink milk, Mrs. Doby?
Yes, they like milk.
The only reason I asked that question, I was quite shocked that they had milk only once a week.
Just thought they didn't like it, but they like milk, but it's well, there's so many, a gallon of milk will make them a glass around, and so we just can't afford it every day.
What do you want most for your children, Mrs. Dobie?
Well, I'd like for them to have a career, whatever they want to be when they got older. Of course, the smaller ones, don't realize yet to know what they'd like to be. But the older girl, she'd like to go to school if she could. Of course, she'll probably be like the boy, have to quit as soon as she's old enough. She really likes to go to school, but she had to miss last week because she had to keep the baby for me to work.
Mrs. Dobie, wouldn't you ever care to have a house of your own?
I'd like to have a house. If we plan to buy one, if we could ever get enough to pay down on one, we'd buy one.
Do you think this will ever happen?
Well, it don't seem like it.
Okay, I want to point out that every time he talks to a certain individual or every time he talks to a certain family, he's gonna ask them the same question. He's gonna ask them about their future. Like, so do you ever think that things are changing and stuff? And this is just going into the mind and life of the 60s.
Where the Exodus has its beginning every year. The migrants call it their home, what the circus people call their winter quarters, their Sarasota. Charles Goodlett, chief of police of Belglade, says,
the problem that we have now are the ones that come here that don't have the money to rent a room. They'll sleep around the bars, in the grass, in the packing houses, around the lake area, in the parks, any place they can find to sleep, to rest for a few hours. They come here with one thought in mind, is to and save enough money.
The migrants call it their home, but their winter quarters.
All right, now that Sarasota is a Spanish term meaning place of dancing. You get what I'm saying? So when he's saying they call it they Sarasota, that means that's like link up the Turner spot. That's how, you know what I'm saying, how Miami is nowadays. Like,
Charles Goodlett, chief of police of Belglade, says,
the problem that we have now are the ones that come here that don't have the money to rent a room. They'll sleep around the bars, in the grass, in the packing houses, around the lake area, in the parks, any place they can find to sleep, to rest for a few hours. They come here with one thought in mind, is to survive till the end of this season and save enough money to get to the next state, going north.
from towns like this throughout Florida and throughout the South, the 2 to 3 millions move out on their annual migration, which ends in late November. They carry with them whatever little they possess, whatever little they are. At the Okeechobee labor camp, while families were preparing to move north, there was still some work in the bean fields. Children, as usual, were left to fend for themselves.
Jerome, how old are you?
9.
9. Do you go to school?
Yes.
Where do you go to school, Jerome?
I did it over Okeechobee Elementary School.
I see. What is your sister's name?
Lois.
That's Lois. And what are your other sisters' names?
Catherine and Beulah.
Catherine and Beulah. What happened to your foot, Jerome?
Dig a nail in out there by the wash house.
So you drove a nail in out by the wash house. What did your mother do for that?
She put some alcohol on
Where do you sleep, Jerome?
in his bed.
You have this big bed?
Yes,
What happened? How did you get that hole in that bed there, Jerome?
the rats.
The what?
Rats.
Now, Jerome, you are taking care of Kathy, of Beulah, and Lois.
Yes,
Now, are you going to give them lunch today?
yes.
What are you going to feed them?
I don't know.
Do you have any food here to give them?
Yes.
I see. What time does your mother come home?
I don't know.
The following day, Aline King, the mother of Jerome, Kathy, Lois, and Beulah, again was picking beans.
Aileen King, I saw your children yesterday at the Okeechobee camp. Why didn't you put them in the nursery?
I don't make enough to pay for it.
How much does it cost to put them in?
85 cents.
85 cents.
That's right.
Aileen, what time did you come out? What time would you get home?
About 3:30.
That hole in that bed there, Jerome.
The rats.
Okay, now I brought it up last night. I want to just say, man, do you realize that when she's saying this woman with finna that's the mother to these children right here, and she's saying that she's getting paid $1 per day for working. This is in the 60s, and she goes on to say how much food costs, how much daycare costs, and things of that nature. And when you look at it, if you do it, it's like the same amount nowadays. You get what I'm saying? She's working 10 cents an hour. We're getting paid $10 an hour. It's the same equivalence. You know, money has devalued, and you get what I'm saying. So you get paid more money now for working than you did then, but at the same time, it's about the same much.
The what?
Rats.
Now, Jerome, you are taking care of Kathy, of Beulah, and Lois.
Yes,
Now, are you going to give them lunch today?
yes.
What are you going to feed them?
I don't know.
Do you have any food here to give them?
Yes.
I see. What time does your mother come home?
I don't know.
The following day, Aline King, the mother of Jerome, Kathy, Lois, and Beulah, again was picking beans.
Aileen King, I saw your children yesterday at the Okeechobee camp. Why didn't you put them in the nursery?
I don't make enough to pay for it.
How much does it cost to put them in?
85 cents.
85 cents.
That's right.
Aileen, what time did you come out the field this morning?
6 o'clock.
What time would you get home?
About 3:30, 4 o'clock.
6 this morning to 4 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right.
How much did you earn?
$1.
$1?
That's right. $1.
Is that because the beans were of poor quality?
That's right.
Has this happened before?
That's right.
Your food cost.
And because this European's beings, this European immigrant, right? Not this sister, not this Aboriginal indigenous sister right here in front of us, but because this European descendant's beans, his crop, because his crop is bad, he's gonna lower the pay and pay this woman less than it takes to feed her children and to put them in daycare and stuff like that. That's crazy. Because his crop is messed up.
About $2.
Aileen, how old are you?
29.
How many children do you have?
14.
She's 29. She has 14 children. 29 with 14 children. What are they putting in the water? What are they putting in these genetically modified organisms you're eating? These GMO foods. What are they putting inside of your food and your water that's making our women not have as many children as they used to? Nowadays, everybody like, man, these Mexicans having babies because they're coming from a different water source. They're coming from a different food source. They're coming from a different diet. Do you get what I'm saying? The American diet, the American food source, the American diet and American food source is poor. That's why we aren't producing children. People look at me, I have 5 children, and they say, "Oh, wow, you have a lot of babies," but really, I don't even have as many as my father or my other father or my grandfather or my uncles. Like people not realizing that they're downsizing us while they're downsizing you all. Here, I'm gonna replay her interview.
Lois and Beulah again was picking beans. Aileen King, I saw your children yesterday at the Okeechobee camp. Why didn't you put them in the nursery?
I don't make enough to pay for it.
How much does it cost to put them in?
85 cents.
85 cents.
That's right.
Aileen, what time did you come out the field this morning?
6 o'clock.
What time would you get home?
3:30, 4 o'clock.
6 or
10-hour shifts, $1 a day. That's 10 cents an hour. Just 70 years ago, 10 cents an hour. She says it costs $2 to get food. It costs 75 cents for daycare, and $1 doesn't make 2.75. Then she lists other items and stuff, but just listen.
this morning to 4 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right.
How much did you earn?
$1.
$1?
That's right. $1.
Is that because the beans were of poor quality?
That's right.
Has this happened before?
That's right.
How much will your food cost you today?
About $2.
Aileen, how old are you?
29.
How many children do you have?
14.
I gotta pause it again. Every time I hear that part, I gotta say, what are they putting in the food? What are they putting in the water that our women aren't breeding like they used to? Our men aren't producing like they used to. Families used to be huge. If we are the minority, it's because they're putting something in the food and the water to make us not breed. They're taking all the eligible men. You know, there's more women than men, so they're taking all the eligible men, all the indigenous fathers, Aboriginal fathers. They're putting us in jail. They're putting us in a large institution. And I'm gonna be doing a series. I have a couple current series on my channel. This series right here is Life in the 60s for European immigrants, Aboriginals, Indigenous, and Indians. Life in the 60s. This series, and it's not just gonna be this video I'm breaking down. It's gonna be a couple more I got on lock, a couple more jewels I got on my video on my channel. But also currently running a gang stalking series. I'm currently running the Moors in Noble Drew Ali series, breaking down the science and seeing what's the division point between Moors and Indians. And also I got a couple more series. But anyway, I do a lot of stuff on psychology for those that don't know. But make sure you got your notification bell on all. But we're finna look at this. This woman says she has 14 children. Gotta hear that one more time. It's beautiful.
What time would you get home?
About 3:30, 4 o'clock.
6 this morning to 4 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right.
How much did you earn?
$1.
$1?
That's right. $1.
Is that because the beans were of poor quality?
That's right.
Has this happened before?
That's right.
How much will your food cost you today?
About $2.
Aileen, how old are you?
29.
How many children do you have?
14.
How old were you when you first started working in the fields?
8.
You've been working 21 years in the fields?
People talking about 401ks. People talking about 401ks and retirement and stuff like that. This woman been working for $1 or less a day since she was 8 years old in the fields for 21 years. She's been working in the fields. That sounds like slavery to me. And when we're talking about the subject and topic of slavery, you know, I stand firm on the truth that the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, did not happen. It did not happen in the mass scale range that they want us to believe. It did not happen. Some thousands of Africans came over here and intermingled on the eastern coast, but not all down south and to the west coast. I stand firm on that. Now, also I want to say this woman has been working for 21 years. That's slavery. What did her parents work for? What did their parents work for? And then here comes the myth inside the school system of slavery and getting whipped and beat and things of that nature. But really, in all actuality, it was indentured servitude. And when that was gone, you had sharecropping and low wage. You get what I'm saying? So when they're talking about American descendants of slaves, ADOS movement and things of that nature, you really got to look at it. You got to look at it from the perspective of we need to be suing for our ancestors' wages. You get what I'm saying? Not for some kind of myth of slavery, and that's why it's never going to go through. That's why every other people that got a wrong done to them on this plane we call Earth, or over here in the Americas, they've all been giving grants and giving money and giving reparations, but not the American Negro. Not the American Negro, because we've never came in our proper name. We've never came with the right title. And as long as we're tracing, as long as we're linking ourselves back to Africa, we have no claim to this land. We have no claim to anything owed to us, because the slaves, the descendants of slaves, those small few thousands of people who did come, maybe less, maybe in the hundreds. You get what I'm saying? There was no mass transatlantic slave trade, man. They just got us all right here from the Americas, and you're gonna see that in this video how they were corralling them and basically herding them. They were cowboys. They were, man. We're gonna break down a lot, y'all. I'm finna play it again though.
That's right.
Aileen, do you ever think you'll be able to get out of this kind of work?
No.
All the migrants travel fourth class. If there is a privileged class, they ride in their own jalopy, in the best Jode family tradition. The long journey begins. Through Atlanta, Nashville, Indianapolis, en route to the fields and orchards of America. Lowe has been following the migrants for the past 9 months. Some are freewheelers who travel as a family unit. He met the Parsons family as they were tomatoes for Indiana strawberries.
Mr. Parsons, do you think the farmers you work for care about your problems?
No, sir. They're not in particular worried about you. They just want their stuff out and you get away as quick as possible.
Would you say that you're welcomed when you're needed?
Well, that is the only time that you are welcome, is when they are needing you. They're friendly and everything, but once they're done with you, well, they'd rather for you to move.
Did they ever ask you to leave their places?
Oh, yeah. They tell you if you're finishing up like tomorrow, well, they had rather for you to be out and gone in about 3 days, and that way it'll cut down on their electric bills and all of the other stuff.
See, he's a European immigrant, right? And they're going to be showing Aboriginals and stuff during all through this show, but also I want to just look at the situation of the so-called white man here in America. They were coming in mass migrations from Europe, barely getting released from prison. Some were prisoners, some were just vagabonds, some were just, it was overpopulated in Europe. That's why all the diseases and sickness came with them from Europe, because you can't pack people into little bitty spaces. That's overpopulation. You get what I'm saying? The square feet of the plane that we call Earth, is humongous. There's plenty of open pastures, flat plains, grasslands. I mean, there's plenty of room for everybody on the plane we call Earth, especially over here in the Americas. The Americas are huge. There's plenty of room, but what do we have over here in the Americas? We have congested cities. We have congested neighborhoods. We have congested stores. We have congested hospitals. That's why this America is just a new Europe. You know what I'm saying? I hear people call it Babylon, but I just, I like to call it what it is. This is the revitalization of the Roman Empire. That's what the U.S. government is. That's just old Caesar again ruling. And this is a land filled with the copper color original people, the original inhabitants of this land, and then you have all these foreigners, these descendants of foreigners. You get what I'm saying? Who are reaping all the benefits and reaping all the glory from this land. But anyway, I'm gonna start this video back. But I wanted to just show you how these Europeans never had a place to call home over here in the Americas. But you're gonna see how the so-called Negro, the Aboriginal, they are just comfortable. They're chilling. They're cool wherever they go over here in the Americas because they're used to it. It's home.
What do you want most in this world for you and your family?
I'd like for my family to be well, stay together as much as possible. I'd like to be on a farm somewhere out away from so many people to where they could attend one church and be interested in more.
See, what he's describing is the sort of life and culture that we lived. You hear what he's saying? I would like to be out on a farm with my family, staying close, attending one church. You get what I'm saying? Like he's describing what the European immigrants came down here and did. The smart ones, what they did was make land grabs because they would get free land grants for to make homesteads and stuff like that. And so what they did that and passed it down and down and down. And that's where you get these landowners, these these JR ranches and all this type of stuff because they just passed our land down through inheritance. And then, it just get caught up in all the legal stuff.
And that way I believe they'd all be better satisfied.
Mr. Parsons, do you think this will ever happen?
Not at the rate that I'm going now, no.
Most of them ride 1,500 to 2,000 miles to work in vehicles owned by crew leaders who are the migrants. This is a Roach family looking for work.
Mr. Roach, how did you happen to come to this place?
I came to Augusta and I was talking to some people and they told me to work around Waycross, see?
Well, how many miles have you been traveling looking for work so far?
About 1,600 something.
Family.
This man say he traveled 1,600 miles looking for work. This is a European descendant with his little mixed children right there. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely mixed. But then again, though, see, pure stock, this is what people ain't realizing. We think of Europeans as blue-eyed white devils, as blonde-haired, blue-eyed white devils. But in all actuality, the majority of Europeans aren't blue-eyed. The majority of Europeans aren't blonde-haired. They actually come from that ruddy stock, that dark-haired stock that Hitler was trying to kill off. You get what I'm saying? That's why if you look at the America's and Israel strange connection and why they're so buddy and things of that nature, then you look at America stepping in during the Holocaust at the end after they seen you get what I'm saying, after they seen what was going on and it was like, okay, Hitler is retreating, so let's hit him while he's hurt. Let's hit him while he's not. Anyway, if you know anything about the art of war, you'll see what America did. Now, this is what I want to say. Just check this out. He just asked him, he said, where did you and your family sleep last night?
Over in the woods. Pulled off on the side of the road, a little dirt road and slept in the woods outside the car.
May I ask you, sir, what did you have for dinner and your family last night?
Well, we had bologna sausages and loaf bread.
That isn't very good food for a growing family, is it?
Well, we made on it.
How much money do you have in the world right at this moment?
I only have about $1.45.
Well, what do you intend to do about food for your family?
This man said, I only have $1.45. Where do you think his descendants are right now? Do you think they're still in the same situation? Do you think they don't have savings accounts and all kind of money, stocks and bonds and things of that nature, CDs and property and land and stuff. This is just 70 years ago, y'all. So like, it shouldn't come to a surprise to us right now that there's so much homelessness and there's so much um people who are just roaming from state to state and stuff, because this has always been how America was. Like, this is always how it's been America was. And it's just in the people to not just check this out.
Today. Well, I've always worked and I always figured I could get work. I had never been where I couldn't get a little something to do.
The vegetables the migrants picked yesterday moved north swiftly on rails. Produce en route to the tables of America by trailer is refrigerated and carefully packed to prevent bruising. Cattle carried to market by federal regulation must be watered, fed, and rested for 5 hours every 28 hours. People.
Did y'all hear that? The cattle got to be rested. The cattle got to be watered, fed, you know what I'm saying, walked every 4 hours. But then he said, but the people, remember y'all always hear me saying, we the people. Like, the Constitution is what we supposed to invoke, because it says we the people. And you hear him, he's gonna say the people. You know what I'm saying? And then look who they show. Let's see who the people are. Who's riding in the back of this caravan?
Men, women, and children are carried to the fields of the North in journeys as long as 4 days and 3 nights. They often ride 10 hours without stop for food or facilities.
Now, you want this nasty cow, this nasty animal, to get a rest every 4 hours. But yet these humans are not getting breaks for 10 hours. Then they're going to go work for 10 hour, $1 an hour for 10 hours. I mean, $1 a day for 10 cents an hour for 10 hours. And yet they're riding in the back of this, whatever you call this little convoy, these buses, these FEMA camp buses, whatever you want to call them, back in the 60s. Look like the same thing the Freedom Riders would let my people go as people was riding. You know what I'm saying? But just look how they always cared about animals more than they cared about humans. Like, that's the key. They don't give a damn about no humans.
The first stop is normally at Yulee, Florida, 1 mile from the Georgia border, a checkpoint for farm labor leaving the state.
Okay.
There are other stops, Kingsland, Georgia, for bread and sandwich meat. Darien, Georgia, for facilities. A roadside stop en route in South Carolina.
Now he's dropping locations. He's showing you where the stuff took part at. He's saying Florida, we've been all in the Okeechobee plantation or whatever they want to call it. And now we're in Georgia. They're stopping through South Carolina, showing you the Aboriginals, they're showing you the children.
"1,000 miles north of Belgrade, Florida, by way of U.S. Route 17 and 301. Through Jacksonville, Savannah, Charleston, Wilmington, and New Bern is Elizabeth City, North Carolina, a bean stop, good for 6 weeks' work. This camp was home for 40 days for the families of Tom Lockett's crew, now 30 hours out of Belgrade.
Ms. Blakely, how many years have you been working in agriculture, in the fields?
Oh, practically all of my life. I haven't did no other work much but in the field all of my life. I raised all my kids working in the field.
I noticed that.
Working in the field, not on the slave plantation, but working in the fields. And some people are gonna see this video and not get why I'm playing this video, or not get why I'm breaking down this video and pointing stuff out, because history isn't as ancient as they want us to believe. They want us to think that the Europeans been over here for hundreds of years, but I don't think the European has been over here for hundreds of years. I just don't think that's true. I think maybe I give them 200. I give them 200. But I'm slowly making that number lower, littler and littler, because I just don't think they've been here for that long. Not in the mass majority that they are now. Salute Aboriginal TV One. Peace, bro. Peace. What's good? What's great? Great to have you up in here. Man, bro, you should have seen them yesterday. I found out that they had blocked everybody from commenting on my channel. Like over 100 people had been blocked, bro, from having moderators. The moderators been in here just blocking my subscribers, bro. I got the screenshots and everything. I lost like over 100 subscribers, bro, in the last week. You know what I'm saying? Because people been getting blocked.
There's some straw over there. What is that for?
Well, that was the straw they bought for the people to sleep on.
Well, weren't mattresses supplied here?
They used to be, but they ain't now.
Mrs. Blakely, where's the water supply over here?
That's it right there.
For how many people?
But this and that over yonder, they all use the same.
I pointed this out last night. I'm gonna point it out again. Look at his haircut. You know what I'm saying? We call them boosie fades, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But that fade been around. Like we've been getting fades, been getting our hair faded. This video is from the 60s for y'all that don't know. This video is from the 60s, and it's really just showing and proving like how much deceit is wrapped in American history. You know what I'm saying? How so much deceit, so much falsehood is wrapped in American history, y'all. Like a lot of the things they're trying to sell us is straight wolf tickets. Like it just didn't happen. We still got our culture, we still got our language. We just, you know what I'm saying? The only thing different they came in large droves. They came in large droves and killed off the elders, y'all. They didn't do it no hundreds of years ago, no, they just did this here recently, y'all, and that's what they're so scared of. That's why we are the hidden giant. We're the elephant in the room. The Aboriginal Indigenous people, we are the sleeping giant, y'all. Like once we wake up, y'all, it's a different from any consciousness. Look how long. All right, the Moor Science Temple has been around. Let me give y'all a little quick. I'm not affiliated with any of these organizations I'm finna name, but let me just give y'all a quick history lesson. The Moor Science Temple has been around for what, 107 years. They still haven't received their own private land, their own private anything. They have no special rights or anything. But Noble Drew Ali brought the best he could, and he birthed from. Reason why I start off with the Moor Science Temple of America is because that was the first, you know what I'm saying, consciousness center for our people. Then you got the UNIA. Garvey didn't do nothing but get himself deported. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do much. You know what I'm saying? Run off with millions of dollars. He took millions of dollars from the people. You get what I'm saying? Who next? I mean, the NOI is still around. It was started in 1934, and the Nation of Islam still ain't got their freedom. They haven't got their separate America. They haven't got their. But I don't know. I'm not speaking on that organization from a firsthand manner. I'm just saying like the things that I know that Elijah Muhammad, aka Elijah Poole Bay, was known for saying, and Farrakhan and Malcolm X about separation from the Caucasian, from the European, and having our own place in America to grow our own industry. No, I haven't seen that. Not in the physical manifest. I haven't seen it yet. And then turn around all these other organizations. It's like now that we're knowing who we really are, that we are Indians, that we are American Indians, and that we didn't come from Africa at all, period. We have no relations with the Africans. When we realize that, now we see, like, now we got the action. We got action over here, y'all.
And how many bathrooms are there here?
Now,
Where do you use the bathroom? Where are the facilities?
don't have one. We use our tin tubes.
He asked her where the restroom. She said she didn't have none. And they said, how do you use the restroom? She said, we use our tin tubs. See, that's Geechee talk. That's Geechee talk, y'all. That's tin tubs. You ever heard somebody, you ain't got a bucket to piss in and window throw it out of? That's Geechee talk. You get what I'm saying? Y'all gotta just peep. That's why I say listen to their dialects on this show. Just check out the different dialects. Listen to the quality of English these people are speaking and stuff.
Mrs. Brown, how do the children fare on the?
Well, they got kind of fretful, when got so riding, handling them. But we made it.
Miss Brown, may I ask how old you are?
I'm 37.
Mrs. Brown, how many years have you been working in the fields?
Live.
Do you remember how old you were when you started?
I was about 8 years old.
Would you like to get out of this work?
I sure would.
Do you think you'll ever be able to?
I'm hoping so.
Now, some of y'all are just coming in, but I already said it earlier in the video. Excuse me. I said it earlier in the video that each family or each individual he talks to about their current situation, he's gonna ask them what's their optimism, if they're optimistic about the future. Do they think that change is anywhere? And I just want to say that this is where you get society making a mass change. What he's doing with this is actually a documentary, but it's also like a survey. It's also like just getting the general consent, getting the general census of the people. That's what it's about, getting the general census of the people. That's why I say voting for president is not real. They want to know what the masses want. They're going to go with the majority of who they want. They're just trying to keep peace. Do you get what I'm saying? The majority rules. They just want to keep peace here in America. They want to keep us dumbed down and peaceful. That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? That's why they got millions. If you're looking for our people, you're like, where are all the indigenous people at? They're all in prisons. They're all in mental institutions. They're all over the world. They shipped us all over the world, all into Europe, all everywhere. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? Greenland is a big genetic modification place. You know what I'm saying? So, how many of us is up there in Greenland?
Do you think you'll be able to, though?
I don't know.
20 miles from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The workers, driven 900
Shout out
miles
to
north
Money
by
Love.
crew leader Norman Hall, picked beans at the prevailing rate of 50 cents a hamper. Lunch is not a picnic, whether brought from the labor camp or purchased at the open-air kitchen, or in a bottle heated by the rays of the sun.
In a survey in 21 states conducted by the National Council of Churches, the migrants themselves listed the evils of labor camp life. Bad housing, flies, mosquitoes, dirty beds and mattresses, unsanitary toilets, and lack of hot water for bathing.
How long were our people in those conditions? Like, how long did that go on? That's that slavery that they speak of in school. Like, that's the real slavery. Like, how long did that go on? You get what I'm saying? Like, how long did we live in those situations, work in those environments, underpaid, underfed, underwashed, under everything, underappreciated? How long did our people stay in that struggle? Why isn't that struggle talked about in school? But yet this mythical slavery was. When there's nobody around, there's nobody alive to vouch for slavery. There's nobody alive to vouch for it, and the people that are alive that they do have them vouch for it, they don't. They'll say anything for fame. They'll say anything to be on TV when TVs didn't even exist before when they were here. So they feel like they're the famousest person in the world. They're having their moment of shame. They're gonna burn forever in hell for lying. But anyway,
One employer of hundreds of migrant laborers was asked, are they happy people?
Well, I guess they got a little gypsy in their blood. They just like it. A lot of them wouldn't do anything else. A lot of them don't know any different. That's all they want to do. They love it. They love to go from place to place. They don't have a worry in the world. They're happier than we are. Today, they eat. Tomorrow, they don't worry about. They're the happiest race of people on earth.
y'all hear that? That's a description of our people in the '60s coming out of a white person's mouth. Let me just replay that and see. So I go back by. I ain't gonna go back too long. I'm finna replay that though, so y'all can just hear it. He said, "I guess they got a little gypsy in their blood." You know, if you know anything about gypsies, that's why I was saying yesterday that this is like they're showing where that hustler culture comes from. If you look at the beginning of this video, they got a dude on there trying to hustle. He trying to sell something for 75 cents, and that's a lot if they're working all day for $1. But gypsies, they travel and they travel in their packs and or in their caravans, and they go from place to place, you know, with their trinkets to sell or with anything. You get what I'm saying? And that's why Noble Drew Ali even showed. Remember, I'm not a Moore Science Temple of America. I'm not affiliated, but Noble Drew Ali, that's my master teacher. And Noble Drew Ali, he showed and proved what this guy is saying about that gypsy. They must got a little gypsy in his blood because Noble Drew Ali, like I said, he showed that his mother was full blood Cherokee and that he grew up with Indians. And then now they're saying, oh, he must have had some gypsy in their blood. You know what I'm saying? Let's just listen. He said the happiest race of people on the planet Earth.
Mr. Jones, do you think that the migratory laborer makes a living wage?
They make a poor living. In other words, sometimes it's just like the farmer. Sometimes when things yields are good.
I gotta point this out. He said they make a poor living. Just people. He said they make a poor living. I mean, they're not making anything. But watch this.
They can make good money. They make a good living. But take year in and year out from different seasons, different sections of the country, I would say no, they make a poor living.
There are days when beans are not ready for harvest, and that's one more day with no income. Ed King, a crew leader, hauled his workers to this camp at Powell's Landing, Virginia, where they worked 5 weeks pulling corn and picking. And when
Now we got Virginia. He already took us through Florida. He showed us Florida, these same copper colored people who look just like us. He showed us South Carolina. He showed us Georgia. Now they're in Virginia. They're pushing you all through the South.
been stripped in North Carolina and Virginia, the trucks and buses again move north. This is Little Creek Ferry, outside of Norfolk. 20,000 migrants are ferried to the fertile fields of the Virginia Cape and the eastern shores of Maryland and Delaware for beans, tomatoes, asparagus, and potatoes. For one crew, hardship was climaxed by disaster.
We had on the road about 4 o'clock this morning.
Now, in this part, they're going to talk about mysterious deaths and how deaths come like clockwork. How every season, deaths just coming like clockwork. And I talked about it last night where I said that that is the ritual. That's the same ritualistic killing we have nowadays. You get what I'm saying? Like from the 60s on through what the 80s or the 90s, they would pass off these ritualistic killing of our people. They would pass it off as Ku Klux Klan or they would, even though the Ku Klux Klan killed a lot too, but they would pass it off as Ku Klux Klan, or they would pass it off as a serial killer. A serial killer, like that killer has a number, a serial number or something. You get what I'm saying? Just another tagged government agent. But anyway,
in the morning, and
make sure if you just coming to the channel, make sure you like the stream. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and put your notification bells to all.
Has this ever happened before with any crews coming up north?
Once I remember, was the state of North Carolina.
What happened?
Everybody got killed.
Every year.
What happened? Everybody got killed. Did y'all hear that? Everybody got killed. Make sure y'all drop some comments in the chat. You can comment anything. Give us your comments. Nobody's gonna get blocked out this chat. The comments not gonna get retracted. None of that. You perfectly fine in here. Even if you're a Ku Klux Klansman, you perfectly fine in here. It's safe for you today.
As predictable as the seasons, there are accidents resulting in death and serious injury to these laborers. On June 6, 1957, at the intersection of U.S. Route 301 and State Highway 102, 9 miles from Fayetteville, North Carolina, 21 migrants were killed, 17 males, 3 females, and the baby boy. The police report stated one of the causes of the high loss of life was the packaging of the occupants of the truck. The states have...
Now, I just want to point out this, y'all. There's nothing but so-called Negroes getting packed around in these vehicles. Have y'all noticed that through the show? There is nothing but Negroes getting packed like sardines in these vehicles, getting rotated all across the country so that they don't know where they are. And this had been going on for years. That's where you get the trickery of the boats. That's where you get the trickery of slavery happen. That's where you get the trickery of nobody knowing where their roots are or what tribe you come from. It's because they got taken from their tribal territory. And then as they're moving the people off of the land, they're turning around and making this land into a state, which is just an estate. They're turning this land into an estate and putting a new name on it. You get what I'm saying? Just totally doing away with the original names to these places. Now check this out.
Fighting for the...
Elijah Wilkerson, peace. Money Love, peace. Aboriginal TV One, peace. Anyone else that's up in here, shout out, peace.
Safe transportation of migrants within their borders. The state of North Carolina is not one of the 6. Secretary of Labor Mitchell.
Hardly a year goes by that we don't read in the paper of some very serious accident where sometimes a dozen or more people have been killed.
He says never a year goes by that we don't hear of some kind of mass accident where 12 or more people are killed. Do you hear this? They're telling you right there. Like they're telling you right there. Anybody that showed certain, they were culling their flock. They were culling the flock. That's what you do when you got animals, when you got people, or they got humans, but they're trying to treat them like animals, corralling them, transporting them, not paying them, just basically making them work for food and shelter. Now, when you got you a slave like that, that is a slave. Like, what else can you call it but a slave? That's the real slavery. You get what I'm saying? This is the real slavery that was going on just here in the 60s. But think about the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 10s, the 1900s, the 1800s. The conditions get worse and worse and worse, but they don't get to chains and whips. No, they get to indentured servitude, and they get to, anyway.
Purely because there is no interstate standard with regard to safety.
Another complication of the migrant stream is the constant flow of foreign workers into the available pool of domestic.
Why are they calling black people migrants? But yet they just point out foreigners. They're gonna point out hundreds of thousands of foreigners coming over here. Hundreds of thousands of foreigners. This is what he's gonna say.
A dozen or more people have been killed purely because there is no interstate standard with regard to safety.
Another complication of the migrant stream is the constant flow of foreign workers into the available pool of domestic workers. Hundreds of thousands of Mexican braceros and thousands of offshore laborers from the Caribbean area, hired by contract, depress the wage scale of the domestic migrant. This controversy is most bitter on the West.
He asked me, where do white people come from? Where do white people come from? I mean, not white people, where Mexicans come from. Man, these people are immigrants, man. Like they're immigrants, and what they did, this is what happened, man. Down in the southern part of the North America, which we call Mexico, which is just another part of North America. Or you can look at that as Mexico and see that California, Texas, and Nevada and Arizona should be included in that, because that's all Mexico too. You get what I'm saying? If we're being technical. Now, Mexico was a black culture zone. You get what I'm saying? Mexico was mostly dark skinned people. And as they pushed up, because remember they landed somewhere in Central and South, they were coming in docking in Central and South. You know what I'm saying? So as they're pushing their way up, the Spaniards are pushing their way up. They're pushing the Aboriginals, the indigenous people up out of that area too, pushing them up. You get what I'm saying? But let's look at these people a little closer though. Just look at them. They're Asians, the so-called Mexican phenotype, like the Hispanic, like they like to call it. But I mean Latin. Yeah, they don't know that when you say Latin. Look for the if it's any Boricua or Cubanos or anything inside the chat. When you call yourself a Latin, or any Mexicans or any other kind of Spanish speaking people, when you call yourself a Latin, you're actually saying you're property of Rome, because Rome spoke Latin. Romans spoke Latin. And so we know that America is under Roman yoke and law. And we also know that we also know that they're calling South America Latin America. And they're just showing that they own that too. That Rome is running that too. Really, we let Rome conquer the West. Just,
Standard with regard to safety.
Another complication of the migrant stream is the constant flow of foreign workers into the available pool of domestic workers. Hundreds of thousands of Mexican braceros and thousands of offshore laborers from the Caribbean area, hired by contract, depress the wage scale of the domestic migrant. Is most bitter on the West Coast. Joseph Woods, a Marine combat veteran of the Pacific, competes.
My bad, I didn't have my mic on. I tried to say shout out to Aboriginal TV. We seeing too, not saying that they us. Oh yeah, yes indeed. Yes indeed. For anybody that's in the stream, y'all can comment, and I'm gonna be pausing. When I pause, I'll check the comments and see what the people are saying, and I'll respond to comments. But yeah, Elijah Wilkerson, they mixed. A lot of mixture came in. You get what I'm saying? The mixture of the culture. That was what they were trying to do. Like right now in America, here in 2020, here in this last decade, what they've had is a mass influx of Europeanized, Christianized Africans that have been coming to America and trying to assimilate with us. That's what they're pushing off. Have you noticed more and more Africans popping up? They're trying to make them assimilate with us, because we're getting too close to knowing who we truly are. We're getting too close for global recognition on who we truly are. And we're not on the globe, by the way. I just used that word to show the circumference of the whole entire plane we call Earth. But straight up, y'all, like, just peep what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Know thyself. You know what I'm saying? They're pushing Africans over here now. They've Europeanized them. They've brainwashed them. They've propagated, man.
Lowe talked to the Woods family under a tree, which was their home in California.
Mr. Woods, how did you happen to pick this spot to camp?
Well, someone told us about it, and they said it was all right to camp here.
Where do you get your water supply?
We go to town after it.
And how do you bring it back here?
In cans. We have a 10-gallon can.
What do you use for sanitary facilities, Mr. Wood?
Well, just get by the best we can.
And how many days will you have to be picking cherries in order to find enough money to move into a house, Mr.
Well,
Wood?
probably quite a few. They usually want a month's rent in advance, so by the time the cherries are over here, we'll be moving somewhere else anyway.
Mrs. Wood, tell me about the children. Do they go out in the orchards and work with you when you work?
Well, we have taken them out sometimes, but they're a little too small to work.
Who takes care of them here?
My father stays here and takes care of them usually.
Do you think that you'll ever make enough money picking fruit, Mr. Woods, in order to get settled down in one place and have a home of your own?
I don't think so.
Throughout the United States, there are others, like the Woods family, who are not able to enjoy the luxury of living in a labor camp. In New Jersey, a few miles from Princeton, is this labor.
Okay, now the narrator has taken us from Okeechobee labor camp in other parts of Florida. He took us through Virginia. He took us through South Carolina, North Carolina. He took us through Georgia. And now, I think they took us through New York. And now they're taking us to wherever he just said. I think New Jersey. What did he just say? Pardon me. I'm gonna try to start it back, but now they're taking us to wherever they're at right now. Like he's showing you the whole. He's going place by place, showing you a map.
Mrs. Wood, tell me about the children. Do they go out in the orchards and work with you when you work?
Well, we have taken them out sometimes, but they're a little too small to work.
Who takes care of them here?
My father stays here and takes care of them usually.
Do you think that you'll ever make enough money picking fruit, Mr. Woods?
I want to point something out. Have y'all ever heard a white person, a so-called white person? We know that they are European descendants of immigrants. They're not white. Their skin isn't even white. Now, have you ever heard a white person tell a so-called black person? We know they're not black. They're descendants of American Indians. They are Aboriginal, Indigenous, Autochthonous, original descendants of the original inhabitants of this part of the planet Earth, the plane we call Earth. Now, have you ever heard of a European descendant, aka a white person, say a black person is lazy? And the reason why they do that is because they actually don't want you to know how lazy they are. Now, we just seen in the earlier in the video where this so-called black woman, this copper colored woman, she's apparently in her 60s. And she said she's been working in the fields her whole life since she was like 8 years old. Then you have the other black woman who said she was working for 29 years. Then the other one said she was working for 21 years. But look, when you look at this European family right here, oh yeah, then the one sister, she said all her children, she had 7 children. She said all of them worked but the baby. No, they showed 7 children. There was 14. She said she had 14 children. And so 7 of them were at work. And out of the 7 that they showed, one of them was a baby. And it was about 2 years old. But the next nearest children were maybe like 4 and 5. And all of them were already working. You get what I'm saying? But look at this European family on the flip side, the reverse side. And just who's really what over here in America. That's all I'm saying. Even Trump know we built America. Even Donald Trump said we built America. Everybody know we built America.
Is most bitter on the West Coast. Joseph Woods, a Marine combat veteran of the Pacific, competes against the Braceros. Lowe talked to the Woods family under a tree, which was their home in California.
Mr. Woods, how did you happen to pick this spot to camp?
Well, someone told us about it, and they said it was all right to camp here.
Where do you get your water supply?
We go to town after it.
And how do you bring it back here?
In can. We have a 10-gallon can.
What do you use for sanitary facilities, Mr. Woods?
Well, just get by the best we can.
How many days will you have to be picking cherries in order to find enough money to move into a house, Mr.
Well,
Woods?
probably quite a few. They usually want a month's rent in advance, so by the time the cherries are over here, we'll be moving somewhere else anyway.
Mrs. Wood, tell me about the children. Do they go out and work with?
I want to point out something. Just here in the 60s, y'all. Now, I'm not talking about everybody. We know there's a minority of people who families were already stable and stabilized in the 60s. You know what I'm saying? Had already sunk in their roots, whether it was from the gold rush, whether it was from any of those type things. But I'm saying, like, so you had families that already had like places they were established at where they want to raise their family and stuff, a generation or two stuck in one place. But the majority of people in the Americas around the 60s were still looking for that place to call home. So a lot of these people, like, y'all think y'all from the East Coast, y'all think y'all from the West Coast, you think you're from the South, you think you're from up north, you think you're from the Midwest. You don't know where you're from. You got to follow that inner sense of direction. You know what I'm saying? You got to travel more. You got to really find that place where your ancestors sing to you or where your bones tell you, like, hey, I'm supposed to rest right here. We ain't saying it's the final rest, but hey, when the final rest do come, this is where I want to be. But right now, hey, I'm perfectly safe here. Do you get what I'm saying? But anyway, I'll press play.
With you when you work?
Well, we have taken them out sometimes, but they're a little too small to work.
Who takes care of them here?
My father stays here and takes care of them usually.
Do you think that you'll ever make enough money picking fruit, Mr. Woods, in order to get settled down in one place and have a home of your own?
I don't think so.
Throughout the United States, there are others, like the Woods family, who are not able to enjoy the luxury of living in a labor camp. In New Jersey, a few miles from Princeton, is this labor camp. There are 2 water taps and 2 outhouses. Families live in one room, usually in one bed. The single men live in the bull pit. One bunk.
They call it the bull pit. The bull pit. Now, if you know anything about bulls, bulls aren't supposed to be around each other. You know what I'm saying? There's only one bull per hundreds of cows. You know what I'm saying? So that has meaning to it too, y'all. Like, it may not seem like it, but that has meaning to it. You know what I'm saying? When you think of a bull, you think of testosterone, you think of masculinity and things of that nature, something strong, fierce, aggressive. And yet, look at this domicile that they're residing in. It brings, I mean, I don't know anybody else, but when I see those bunk beds, the first thing I think about is the county jail. First thing I think about is prison, mass incarceration, and things of that nature. They're just testing it out. Remember, I said a lot of the things that were going on in the 50s, the 60s, and things of that later. How do you say your name? Jamel Younger? Jamel Younger, peace. Peace, bro. Um, so let me just rewind just a little short clip, y'all. And then like people wonder about tiny home living and things of that nature, but that just look at it, y'all. Y'all know y'all used to live in teepees. Where your rooms at in your teepee? Then you know they used to have log houses out here in the Americas too. Where's your, you know what I'm saying? Where was your private room there? There was no private rooms. There was no, you get what I'm saying? There was no big mansions and stuff like that. That is European concept. That is you being compartmentalized. That's like a cave. That's caveman living. You get what I'm saying? It's like you wanting to be inside the caves again, but living in an apartment inside of a house and stuff like that. But anyway, just check it out. Look at the living situations.
There are 2 water taps and 2 outhouses. Families live in one room, usually in one bed. The single men live in the bull pit. Their space, one bunk. 4 people live in this room in New Jersey. A family of 6 will move into this room. Nearby, a trotting raceway has new stables for horses. They cost $500,000. At Cutchogue.
Did y'all hear what he said, man? I'm finna go back a little bit. Man. You can say, meanwhile, we got these horses over here living in $100,000 stable. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, we got these horses staying over here in $100,000 stable. You know what I'm saying? While the niggas in the bull pit and the females are in one bed. They seem like the cows and the horses were living the best in the 60s. I guess they were just living their best life.
The single men live in the bull pit. Their space, one bunk. 4 people live in this room in New Jersey. A family of 6 will move into this room. Nearby, a trotting raceway has new stables for horses. They cost $500,000. At Cutchogue, New York, 300 migrants live in this camp owned and operated by the Potato Growers Association of Long Island. This is migrant housing, 90 miles from Times Square. Some have tried to leave the endless migratory stream. Wherever this happens, the local slum areas expand. This is Riverhead, Long Island, New York. A minister said, "This is as primitive as man can live." This settlement of former the in Shenango County, New York State, a farm labor camp. The ultimate goal of Ed King's crew, 1,257 miles from Belglade. The migrant mission serves 1/2 pint of milk and 1 cracker to each child. This is their lunch. Their parents eat lunch in the field, sometimes 75 miles away. This is the living space of Eileen King and her 5 children. The room is similar to their winter quarters in Belglade, only smaller. Charles Schumann, president of the American Farm Bureau Federation, says,
"We're the only group of housing for our workers, and we furnish these extra perquisites. Some sections call it the furnish. And it's almost equate the value of these added benefits. At the same time, we don't condone inadequate housing."
Mr. Schumann, why does the American Farm Bureau Federation so violently oppose federal legislation?
I think there'll be more rapid progress with state regulation than there will be with federal regulation. We think that federal will follow the route that almost all federal legislation does, of additional and more stringent and more regular red tape, and leading to a certain pattern all over the country. And in fact, probably...
Right now, he's talking about living situations of migrants. He's talking about living situation for the workers, for these slaves It almost seems like he's talking about the living situation from it. And he's talking about how state legislation is simpler and easier to weave its way through than government legislation. And it's the same thing with the medical marijuana, the legal weed. You see, they didn't move it through federal regulations, FDA and stuff like that. They move it through state regulations by state by state. You get what I'm saying? Just another social experiment.
Rule out the use of migrant labor very quickly.
The middleman between the farmer and the migrant is the crew leader, a remnant of the padrone system in wide use 60 years ago. Ed King, a crew leader, says,
well, a crew leader, in a way, he have to be the father and mother and all when he takes this crew out. Because the whole...
Sound like master to me. Hold on, let's rewind this shit. It sound like master to me. I don't know. This the so-called master, the Father, the Mother, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Rule out the use of migrant labor very quickly.
the middleman between the farmer and the migrant is the crew leader, a remnant of the padrone system in wide use 60 years ago.
In remnant of the padrone system widely used 60 years ago. We're going to look into that padrone system.
Ed King, a crew leader, says,
well, a crew leader, in a way, he have to be the father and mother and all when he takes this crew out. Because the whole crew will mostly be dependent direct on him.
Reverend Michael Cassidy, who travels with the migrants, says,
well, some of the crew leaders, they are good, but the majority of them, they are bad. They are so bad that they are the worst that they can be. They're trying to skin alive these migrants. They take every dime they make. They try every scheme is possible. For instance,
I mean, that's slavery. That's slavery right there. Do y'all hear what he's saying? We're worrying about something that happened hundreds of years ago, reparations and stuff. ADOS, that's an agent movement, man. That shit is an agent movement. I don't care what nobody says. The ADOS movement, that is an agent movement. And the reason why I say that is anyone denying the fact that we are aboriginals, that we are indigenous people of the Americas are agent movements. We know that the Pan-Africanist community is an agent movement. We know it was established by agents, turncoats, and whatnot. Let's be real. Let's just call it like it is, y'all. And I'm finna play this again. Just listen to the work situations, the work environment. This is in the 60s. Oh, for those of y'all that don't know, you're now tuned in to Chief Sebi Indigenous. Higher power back in the booth.
Be the father and mother and all when he takes this crew out. Because the whole crew will mostly be dependent direct on him.
Reverend Michael Cassidy, who travels with the migrants, says,
well, some of they are good, but the majority of them, they are bad. They are so bad that they are the worst that they can be. They're trying to skin alive these migrants. They take every dime they make. They try every scheme is possible. For instance, they pay the owner the 45 cents to pick a crate of tomatoes. And then they turn around, they pay the labor 12 cents at the most. And natural, they have 3 or 40 or 50 or 100 people picking tomatoes. He makes, and last year making here, right in here, $14,000, a crew leader. And all the men, they left in here, and I met him in Alabama, they were broke. They didn't have a dime because they didn't make the money themselves.
everyone who knows anything about this.
Now, this is in the 60s. Right now in 2020, we still, what's up, Vince Valentine? Peace. Jamel Younger, peace. Money Love, Elijah Wilkerson, Aboriginal TV, and Aboriginal TV 1. Peace to everybody. Now, excuse me, pardon myself. Anybody else that's in here, you can comment If you want to shout out, hit the like button when you come in, please, and like, share, subscribe, things of that nature. And what I want to say is this: look, he's telling you that they're swindling the people. That's what reparations should be for. Our people just here in the 60s and beyond were getting swindled out of pay. This dude breaks it all the way down, and I'm gonna replay that clip. This dude just broke it all the way down how our people were getting straight swindled. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. He said they're getting 45 cents a crate, and then but he said the supervisor. And this is just the supervisor. He said the supervisor left with like $14,000. That's the equivalence to about 100 and that's the equivalence of a lot of damn money nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And he said every other worker that left from that camp was completely broke by the time they left. By the time they got where they were going. Like, that is horrific. That is slavery. That is the same thing Walmart is doing today. The same thing Dollar General is doing today. The same thing these fast food places are doing today. We're working for underwage. We're underpaid. We're underhoused. We're under everything. And yet everything is overpriced, inflation. And we're buying from the same people we work for. And then Trump 2020, man.
This situation agrees that the best hope for the future of the migrants lies in the education
Okay.
of their
Okay, now watch
education.
this. And watch this.
See that? Good.
Okay, now this is the part he's gonna talk about the crew leader. What up, Ishra? I mean Lorray one. What up, peace? Now he's finna talk about the crew leaders and how bad they treated people. And then he's gonna turn around and make it even plainer. The narrator is gonna say the only hopes we have for these migrants. He's talking about copper color individuals. He's talking about Aboriginal people. He's gonna say the only hope that we have for these people is in the education of their children.
The majority of them, they are bad. They are so bad that they can be. They're trying to skin alive these migrants. They take every dime they make. They try every scheme is possible. For instance, they pay the owner, the grower, pay them 45 cents to pick a crate of tomatoes. And then they turn around, they pay the labor 12 cents at the most. And natural, they have 3 or 40 or 50 or 100 people picking tomatoes. He makes, I know a man last year making here, right in here, $14,000, the crew leader. And all the men they left in here, and I met him in Alabama, they were broke. They didn't have a dime because they didn't make the money themselves.
Everyone who knows anything about this situation agrees that the best hope for the future of the migrants lies in the education of their children. But for the children of migrants, education is not easy to come by. There are 600,000 of them. Most state child labor laws ignore farm children. And so far as the children of migrants are concerned, almost without exception, they leave school at the age of 16 forever. The United States Office of Education reports that the migratory workers have the highest rate of illiteracy in the country. Approximately 1 out of every 500 children whose parents are still migrant laborers finishes grade school. Approximately 1 out of every 5,000 ever finishes high school. And there is no case upon the record of the child of a migrant laborer ever receiving a college diploma.
Only 6 states have summer schools for migrants. The New Jersey School Center is at Cranberry.
Laura, how old are you?
11.
11. What grade are you in?
In the 6th.
6th grade. Do you intend to go to high school, Laura?
Yeah.
What would you like to be?
I like to be a teacher.
What would you like to teach?
I like to teach the 5th grade.
What do you think about going to school here in Cranberry, New Jersey, Harry?
I like it. I like it.
Well, good. Would you, do you have any idea what you want to do when you grow up?
Be a teacher.
Well, good. How old are you, Patricia Ann?
8.
What grade? 9. What grade are you in?
4.
Do you have any idea what you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
What's that?
A nurse.
Otis, what would you like to do when you grow up?
Be a doctor.
You going to be a doctor?
Yes.
What kind of a doctor, do you know?
I think I'd rather be a dentist.
A dentist?
Teeth.
Mrs. Christine Shack, their teacher, was asked about her pupils.
Mrs. Shack, do your pupils, who are most of them children of migrant families, are they anxious to get an education?
Terribly anxious, even more so than the child in the normal school year.
Do they get any help from their parents as far as schoolwork is concerned?
Usually you will find that the parents themselves are not educated. When we go out to enroll the children, oftentimes the parent will make an X and the person interviewing will have to sign it in order to get permission for the child to be enrolled in school.
Mrs. Shack, how does this problem affect you personally?
I think maybe I feel a bit of responsibility toward these children because I realize that we here in New Jersey reap the benefits of their parents' labor, and the children are suffering because their parents are here doing this.
I saw one bright little girl. Her name was Laura Weeks. Will she really have a chance to continue her education?
Laura is from a rural area in Florida, and she is from an exceedingly large family. In fact, I believe there are 8 of us, all girls.
Y'all hear this? Laura is from an extremely large family in a rural area. I think there are 9 girls in this family. Like, Laura is from a extremely large family, y'all. Like, this is what I'm saying. All through this video we've been watching, we've seen. I'm gonna go back because I kind of missed it. If y'all seen, I had got a call. But man, this is crazy. This video just showing and proving like that slavery didn't happen, and that that the form of slavery that they want us to think happened didn't happen, and that what they need to be reparating for or what they need to be making right is this lack of wages. You get what I'm saying?
Laborer ever receiving a college diploma.
Only 6 states have summer schools for migrants. The New Jersey School Center is at Cranberry.
Laura, how old are you?
11.
11. What grade are you in?
In the 6th.
6th grade. Do you intend to go to high school, Laura?
Yeah.
What would you like to be?
I like to be a teacher.
What would you like to teach?
I like to teach the 5th grade.
What do you think about going to school here in Cranberry, New Jersey, Harry?
I like it. I like it.
Well, good. Would you, do you have any idea what you want to do when you grow up?
Be a teacher.
Well, good. How old are you, Patricia Ann?
8.
What grade? 9. What grade are you in?
4.
Do you have any idea what you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
What's that?
A nurse.
Otis, what would you like to do when you grow up?
Be a doctor. Yes.
What?
Nothing but healers and teachers. That's what our children always want to be: nurses, doctors, law. Have you ever noticed whenever you ask one of our children what they want to be, it's always a teacher, a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer. You get what I'm saying? That's just ancestors up in them just rising and saying, like, you know what I'm saying? That's what they feel most comfortable doing at child age, at that age. I feel like that's really a trick question they ask us when we're child to make sure that, man, it's crazy. Here it is, though.
What kind of a doctor, do you know?
I think I'd rather be a dentist.
A dentist?
Teeth.
Mrs. Christine Shack, their teacher, was asked about her pupils.
Mrs. Shack, do your pupils, who are most of them children of migrants, are they anxious to get an education?
Terribly anxious, even more so than the child in the normal school year.
Do they get?
Salute everybody up in the chat. What's good? What's great? MJ Givens. For everybody else who don't know, you're tuned in to Chief Sebi Indigenous. Higher power. And we're at about 31 minutes of this video. We got about 21 minutes left, and I'm stopping and I'm doing commentary. And right now, the narrator has been going through rural America. He's passed all through the South. He started in Florida. He went through Georgia. He went through South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. And now he's in New Jersey. And oh yeah, he went through New York. So he went to the East. And now he's in New Jersey at a school out here. And he just asked the children what did they want to be. You know what I'm saying? These beautiful Aboriginal children right here in the 60s. He asked them what did they want to be. And throughout the video, we just catch the beginning of the stream if you missed it, but we're gonna keep on going.
Get any help from their parents as far as schoolwork is concerned?
Usually you will find that the parents themselves are not educated. When we go out to enroll the children,
Melanin Moan, peace. No, I'm not familiar with that person. I'll check them out. How are you? How are we today? Yeah, I'll check them out most definitely. I'm right now we're in when I get back up there in 2020, I'll check on them.
and oftentimes the parent will make an X and the person interviewing will have to sign it in order to get permission for the child to be enrolled in school.
Mrs. Shack, how does this problem affect you personally?
I think maybe I feel a bit of responsibility toward these children because I realize that we here in New Jersey reap the benefits of their parents' labor, and the children are suffering because their parents are here doing this.
I saw one bright little girl. Her name was Laura Weeks. Will she really have a chance to continue her education?
Laura is from a rural area in Florida, and she is from an exceedingly large family. In fact, I believe there are 8 or 9 girls, all girls.
That's what they call us. That's what they call our places where we're at, rural. When you look at the Gullah Geechee videos and stuff, when you look at different, especially stuff like this in the 60s, they called our areas rural areas. So basically they did a gentrification. What they were doing is going to, this is rural. We're going to clean up this rural neighborhood and build this sprawling gated community and things of that nature. They've been destroying our culture and reinstating their culture, this European culture. You get what I'm saying? If you missed the beginning of this video, you probably missed a lot of jewels. Just make sure you hit the like button, and we're still in here for at least 30 more minutes on this topic. Then I'm gonna end the stream probably, I'm just gonna put on another. I'm gonna correct the title. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep building. I got another video for y'all.
In the family. They have been coming to New Jersey now for about 3 or 4 years, to my knowledge. Laura is one of my returning pupils. I've seen great progress from year to year in Laura. We've had her for 3 sessions. However, I think because of the family's financial conditions and the size of the family and the fact that she is in a rural area, that she probably will get no farther than upper junior high school or maybe complete high school with luck.
What about Harriet Damon?
Harriet, too, is from a very large family. There are 9 children in the Damon family. We have 6 of them here in the summer program. She is the oldest of the 9. I doubt seriously that Harriet will have an opportunity to advance her education. One can't help but have compassion for those who find themselves in such a condition.
The federal government spends $6.5 million annually protecting migratory wildlife. This year, Congress failed to appropriate $3.5 million to educate migratory children.
Listen, through the whole video, the narrator has been describing the appropriation of funds, right? He's showing he's been comparing animals to humans this whole video. It's something I never really paid attention to. Like I said, I watched this video over 10 times before, and it's been on my channel for a little while. But he's actually comparing animals to humans quite often, and he's showing you how they care more about the animals than they do the humans. They showed the humans living they showed the Aboriginals living in housing quarters, packed tight in housing quarters and barracks and stuff, and then turn around. They also showed how just right down the street there was a $500,000, $500,000 stable built for racehorses. In the 60s, there was a $500,000 stable built, but yet these people were living in shacks. And then you have turn around. It's just crazy. But let them play this one again though. This one was impactful, showing how there's no money for funding for the workers, but there's money for funding for the animals.
High school or maybe complete high school with luck.
What about Harriet Damon?
Harriet, very large family. There are 9 children in the Damon family. We have 6 of them here in the summer program. She is the oldest of the 9. I doubt seriously that Harriet will have an opportunity to advance her education. One can't help but have compassion for those who find themselves in such a condition.
Okay, and peace everyone. It's 15 people up in here. Make sure y'all all hit the like button. But I want y'all all to know, if you make content, let me know. Drop a comment, and if you create videos, I'll subscribe to you. You know what I'm saying? I have my moderator. I mean, I have my monitor, so I can subscribe to you all right now while I'm live. So let me know.
The federal government spends $6.5 million annually protecting migratory wildlife. This year, Congress failed to appropriate $3.5 million to educate migratory children. Senator Harrison Williams, chairman of the Subcommittee on Migratory Labor, was asked if state or federal legislation was the answer.
Many aspects can only be successfully dealt with at a national level. Wages. We can't, we see states in competitive positions. They're reluctant to raise wages through legislation in their state because their farmers are competing with farmers in other states. See, in education, some states.
That's a good point, Melanin Moan. That's a good point. You said if you understand and know who indigenous aboriginals of this land and every land was, you will understand all this stem for colonization. Yes. What they came in with the and that's what I'm saying within this video right here, Life in the 60s. And I have another video on the 60s, but we're going to go to a different video right now. After this one is over, we're going to go to a whole different video. But right now, Trey, CVOK, peace, y'all. And if everybody don't know, the reason why I took everybody's wrenches off, I have no moderators right now. I got to get to know y'all, man, because someone or some group of people have been blocking everybody in my chat. So whenever I go live, they've been just blocking people in my chat where they can't comment because they had a moderator status. I wasn't seeing it or anything. They were just blocking people out my chat. You know what I'm saying? On some hater troll stuff. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, the chat would be jumping right now. But anyway, y'all, it's Chief Sebi Indigenous. Y'all free to comment whatever y'all want. Like, comment whatever y'all want. I will, whenever I pause to build, I'll check the comment section and build on what y'all saying too.
To have taken great strides. We can't expect states to do it alone when they know their neighboring state with whom their farmers compete are not doing anything. We know that just about everybody in this country has some federal support for adequate housing through FHA or whatever the program is, except the farm community. And the migrant farmer is the most poorly housed member of our society.
Senator Williams, a Democrat, and Secretary of Labor Mitchell.
And right now in 2020, y'all know what I'm saying. I'm from Texas. I don't know where y'all all are from. But when I was back in the city, I was back in my city, Fort Worth, Texas. And it's like everybody is under house. There's no housing for people. Everybody's homeless and stuff, sleeping in cars and stuff like that. Not everybody, but the mass majority of people. Rental history messed up and stuff. And that's everywhere. When I was down in LA, it's the same way. And it's just like it was the same way in the 60s, y'all. Like, this isn't a new occurrence. This isn't a new occurrence at all. It's just we forget to talk to our grandparents. We forget to talk to our great-grandparents and know that they just went through the same thing. That's why they can tell us, like, oh, you'll be all right. Oh, child, you'll be all right. Get out and travel more, child, and stuff like that, because they know.
A Republican have called for legislation which will probably come before the next session of Congress. And only last week, President Eisenhower made the Presidential Committee on Migrants a permanent body. But the real problem is that there are many kinds of farmers and many kinds of crops. The big mechanized grain and dairy farmers use little or no migrant labor. Some of the major canneries do pay fair wages and provide adequate housing. However, it must be stated that most of the fruit and vegetable farmers find it economically impossible to build good housing like this to be used only 6 weeks a year. The farmer claims he is trapped between what society expects and his market demands. Howard Jones, a grower in Florida, was asked if he knew what his beans picked that day would bring in the market.
Well, you can't tell from one day to another. Some days you'll go down there and you'll get $5, and I've seen them drop to $1.50 the next day. Or one day they'll be $3, and the next day they might be $2. Or one day they'll be $2, and the next day they could be $4.
Who sets your price?
Well, that's what we're all trying to figure out. Everybody, I don't know the answer, but the chains seem to have more to do with setting the prices than anyone else. There's too much difference between the price that they're paying the farmers all over the country. And something we've thought about trying to get somebody to investigate it, some of the congressmen, the senators, but you go up there to Washington, we had a group of boys go up there here a couple of years ago. They gave them a runaround. Agriculture Department, they all give them a runaround. We believe that those chains have lobbyists in Washington, and they're going to do pretty well as what they please.
Mr. Mitchell, some of the growers have told us that the chain stores fix the prices, and they cannot meet those prices if they pay their labor a higher wage. What about that?
Well, I wonder if that's a very valid argument. That might be said of many other industries. It might be said, for example, of the garment industry, and I've heard it alleged that retailers dictate to the manufacturer the price they will pay for a garment, and in effect say, you produce the garment at that price no matter what it takes to produce it. However, the garment worker in this country fares very well in terms of standard of living, due in large measure to the Mr. Potofsky and Mr. Dubinsky of the ILGW and the Amalgamated Clothing Workers and others who have taken what was a very substandard industry not so long ago, 1911, the Great Fire in New York. Today, these workers are thriving members of the community.
Okay. Now, someone in the chat just said, I just wish all our woke and wise ones would work together and give everybody wisdom, because half the Aboriginals are still lost on being Africans in the Holy Bible. Well, that's why I've always made it real careful. You know what I'm saying? It's not anything. It's not any narcissistic reason or any of that why I try not to affiliate with people. And it's just because everybody will have their own understanding, their own knowledge, their own wisdom, right? The truth doesn't change. There's only two things in this world that never change, and that's the truth and the falsehood. You can't make a lie real. You can't make a truth a lie, no matter how much you try. And so if we all got the same truth, we should be unified under one point, one truth, which should be that we are from the Americas and that we did not immigrate here, and that the European colonizer tricked us out of our heritage, our culture, our right, our inheritance, our estate. We shouldn't be trying to affiliate with ourselves with any peoples outside of the Americas, as far as like trying to any religion, any kind of school of thought that comes outside of America isn't for Aboriginals. I mean, if you're Aboriginal, that means you're part of the original inhabitants of this plane we call America, other Americas, Turtle Island, or whatever you want to call it. So if they're Aboriginals, we should all have that, at least that core belief, like at least that core truth, that the African thing. I haven't ran across any Aboriginals to try to link us back to Africa, me personally, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and then as far as working together thing, like, you know how it is. It's just the same thing. Like in the streets, some people on YouTube chasing money. Some people are really trying to wake people up. Some people are really trying to give people knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and tools on their belt of masonry to work with. because the world is ruled off masonry. Everything gets ruled off lines, geometrical shapes, numbers, signs, symbols, etc. From your roadway signs to your books to your streets, your neighborhoods. Everything is built off of masonry. Masonry built America long before colonization. Masonry built the world long before the event of the European immigrant, before the event of the Caucasian, before the event of the so-called white man. And so as long as we can all know certain things like that, man, just leave the foreigner to the foreign, leave the foreign traditions to the foreigner.
And the price that my wife pays for a garment today, she gets a much better garment than her mother ever had at a lower price. So this argument that the farmer has to meet the dictation of the chain store leaves me rather cold.
The migrant farm worker occupies the lowest level of any major group in the American economy. The soil has produced no Samuel Gompers or John L. Lewis. As Secretary of Labor Mitchell states,
I think the AFL-CIO in the past has been too preoccupied with other affairs, and probably the farm problem was so tough that they were reluctant to tackle it. I think their attitude and policy has changed, and they're making a greater effort now to organize than they ever have in the past.
Farm labor, however, is excluded from all federal legislation designed to protect the rights of those engaged in interstate commerce to organize and bargain. In 1959, the AFL see $100,000 in an effort to organize the fruit pickers of California. One of the large growers in California asked what he thought of this effort to organize the fruit pickers.
I think their very lack of progress and their very lack of success in signing up members has shown that the industry in which they
Now, they're showing you white migrant workers, but when you look inside the vehicles, there's nothing but aboriginals in the vehicles. There's nothing but copper colored individuals in the thing. They keep referring to slavery. They keep referring to under wages. They keep referring to no rights of these people. Now, look in the back. Who do you see actually working? There's a black woman there. There's an aboriginal woman there. There's an aboriginal man there. There's an aboriginal man there. There's an aboriginal man there. There's an aboriginal child there, or man. Do you get what I'm saying? They're showing you. They're showing you the truth. You get what I'm saying? While keeping the narrative, they're trying to keep the narrative going, but this video actually is trying to negate the narrative also.
represent has no place or application to agriculture.
Charles Schumann, president of the American Farm Bureau Federation, was asked how his organization felt about unions.
I think that the agricultural worker needs to have the right to change jobs, freedom to move about, freedom to quit if he doesn't like it, freedom to protest, freedom to negotiate, or they are organized, but the right to strike at the time of harvest ought to be regulated in some manner.
The AFL-CIO organizing committee in California thinks differently. Earlier this year, they called a strike meeting of cherry pickers in Stockton.
Always on the go for a winter steak in summer, and the pay has been too low.
A meeting reminiscent of the days of auto and steel organizing in the 30s.
We has won or failed. Keep your hand upon the dollar and the dime for every pail.
Louis Kramer, an official of the organizing committee.
Your negotiating committee met with cherry industry representatives for the first time in the history of agriculture. They set a minimum of 110 per 16-quart bucket for good and average. Now, some contractors and growers will try to beat down that minimum price. They'll say that they can't afford to pay 110 a bucket for the big crop, that they're squeezed, that the Chrysler Imperial needs fixing, or Junior's Thunderbird is on the blink. Now it's up to you and the rest of the pickers. It's your program. It represents united action.
Sure, you can get a job, but if you can't live on what you make, what good is the job? You make about $5 or $10 today, and tomorrow you just looking for a job and stay on the street looking for a job. You don't got no job another day. And what do the local people what to do? We live in a tent under a shady tree, under a river bridge. We drink water out of a creek or anywhere we can get it. 5 or 6 families drink out of 1 cup, a tin can, or anything else.
Now, the brother in the chat just said, and I appreciate you for coming in and building, bro. You're not a regular. So I really don't know your name and stuff, bro. But Melanin Moan, that's peace, bro. We appreciate you for coming through. And now let me say this. What did you say? You said they came here, we showed them how to farm, then they used the banks to take them from us. Facts. Yes. In my Martin Luther King video, I have a clip of Martin Luther King saying, everybody wants to always point out Martin Luther King saying slavery. We're in exile in our own land, right? But on that same video clip, he also says that they gave all those land grants, millions of acres of lands away to European immigrants. They were giving them land grants. They were propagating and proselytizing the fact that they could come and get free land over here in the Americas. Now you get those people right here on camera. Now look, you don't see any Aboriginals inside this building complaining about the work and complaining about the living situations and stuff. But yet again, you have nothing but Aboriginals that he's actually showing you who's really doing all the work. You get what I'm saying? This is actually like a meeting of the bosses or the foremen or whatnot.
Now, some contractors and growers will try to beat down that minimum price. They'll say that they can't afford to pay 110 a bucket for the big crop, that they're squeezed, that the Chrysler Imperial needs fixing, or Junior's Thunderbird is on the blink. Now it's up to you and the rest of the pickers. It's your program. It represents united action.
Sure, you can get a job, but if you can't live on what you make, what good is the job? You make about $5 or $10 today, and tomorrow you just looking for a job and stay on the street looking for a job. You don't got no job another day. And what do the local people supposed to do? We live anywhere, in a tent, under a shade tree, under a river bridge. We drink water out of a creek or anywhere we can get it. 5 or 6 families drink out of 1 cup, a tin can, or anything else. We're to blame. We tolerate that stuff. If we stick together and say we won't do it, we won't pick your chairs until you give us some restrooms in the field for the ladies, some for the men, and some water fit to drink, we won't pick them. We get them.
The fruits of the earth must be harvested to feed and sustain mankind.
What have you to show for picking since the harvest has begun? We have barely made expenses, but we've sent a going step.
Once again, I want to just say they're showing nothing but Europeans complaining about the work. They're showing the Europeans going on strike about the work. but they're showing nothing but Aboriginal people, nothing but copper tone people actually getting corralled around in these caravans and getting basically working on plantations, working for low wages, working for no wages, poor housing, no restrooms, no running water. Like, this is what's really going on in America. Like, this is America, and that dope got y'all tripping up. Like, for real, for real. Chief Sebi, Indigenous. Hiya, 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 power back in the booth.
And upon the dollar and a dime for every pail.
The question posed by thoughtful men is, must the 2 to 3 million migrants who help feed their fellow Americans work, travel, and live under conditions that wrong the dignity of man? Howard Van Smith, awarded a Pulitzer Prize for his series of articles on migrant labor in the Miami News, says this.
I knew next to nothing of the migrant situation 4 to 5 years ago. I knew there were migrant camps, but a migrant was just a person who worked in a farm to me. After seeing what I have, that I will devote the rest of my life to doing what little I can to help solve this problem.
Secretary of Labor James Mitchell says,
I feel sad. I feel sad because I think that it's a blot on my conscience, as well as the conscience of all of us who are, whom society has treated a little more favorably than these people. They have no voice in the legislative hall, no voice in Congress, and their employers do have a voice. Their employers are highly organized and make their wants and terms and conditions known to, I know of no greater pressure lobby, so-called, in Washington than the farm group. In all the matters in which I am interested in, I have been frustrated to a greater extent than in any other sphere of activity as Secretary of Labor in my inability to make any impact at all in terms of either regulations or law that would help the farm workers. And the pressures of the farm groups are tremendous. We guarantee to the loss in certain crops. There, the farmer likes to participate in the government largesse. But Lord help the fellow like myself who dares suggest that perhaps the government, the workers that work on farms. It seems to me that we no longer quarrel with the idea that a man is worthy of his hire, a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. After all, the employers of this country, as indeed the workers, are part of our way of life, and it's morally wrong, it seems to me, for any man, any employer, to exploit his workers.
Now, he just admits that it's morally wrong for any man to exploit his workers, but at the same time, he's telling you that this society we live in, this country, this is our way of life. He's saying like that is what it is. So when Trump says make America great again, now I fuck with Trump, but when Trump says make America great again, it instills in me a sense of, hold on a second, Trump, are you saying 60s, 50s, 30s great, or are you saying pre-colonialism great? Because when you say make America great again, I'm talking about pre-colonialism, when America was truly great. You know what I'm saying? When people were free to roam where they will, when the tribes ruled. Okay, now I'm just gonna play. We're almost done with this video, by the way.
In this day and age, I don't think we should tolerate it. As a citizen, in or out of this office, I propose to continue to raise my voice until that the country recognizes the obligation to do something for them.
And while men of goodwill seek to right injustice, the migrant, the lonely wanderer, the outcast, is trapped in the stream. Now it is November. The last of the laborers, in trucks, buses, and cars, approach the southern states to start the cycle all over again. The Sunshine State welcomes them back. Homestead, Pahokee, Belglade, and hundreds of other communities. This is home. New housing is available. The rent, $15 per room per week. The migrant is at the mercy of the weather. This year in Florida, there was a freeze, killing beans, tomatoes, celery, corn. What was a bread line? Migratory farm workers are not eligible.
Y'all see that? That's in the 60s, but they look like, have y'all ever been inside the, what is it called? Health and Human Services? Or what is it called? The food stamp office? Like, that's what the lines look like up in there. This was, he talking about, LOL. Yeah, like, just look at it. You got your occasional European up in there too, your immigrant. This is just what it looks like, y'all. We're looking back into the 60s right now. That could be somebody viewing this video or somebody who's gonna view this video. That could be your ancestors right there. That could be your people right there. That's crazy, right? Start talking to your grandmothers and your grandfathers, y'all. Start talking to your greats and get your history. We're looking at culture right here. None of these people were named, but we're looking at culture and history. This is the hidden America. This is the hidden history of America. This is what they're lying about. This is what they're hiding from us, that this so-called slavery thing, this myth, this boogeyman, ooh, it's all a lie. It's all a lie. There was no slavery. There was underpaid, underwaged, underhoused, underfed, underschooled, under provided for colonialization that happened, and then underpaid and all of that work situations. You get what I'm saying? Indentured servitude situations and things like that. Straight up criminals and vagabonds running the Americas, just like that. Crime has been around since first. The only crime, according to all law and all natural law and all any kind of laws, civics you want to enter, y'all, like any kind of on the United Nations level, on the civil level, on the criminal level, on the federal level. The first crime committed here in America by far, the most worst crime committed was colonization. That was the occupying of a sovereign people in their land, in their territories, in their progeny by force, through the birth certificate, through the social security, through the identification process, tagging. Like, I ain't gonna go in too far, y'all, but just know, just see it for what it is and not for what they want us to see it as. But this video is very, very, if you missed any parts of it, we're getting close to the end, man. But we've been in here 2 hours and this was a 48-minute video. So it's deep.
Eligible for unemployment insurance. This happened in the United States in 1960. A line of humans waiting for a ration of tinned goods, milk and bread. The Secretary of Labor says, for the rest of my life, in or out of office, I propose to do something for them. A hardened newspaper man says, for the rest of my life, I will do what little I can to help. But perhaps Julian Griggs, a chaplain for the migrants, speaks for all of us.
Is it possible to have love without justice? Is it possible?
Is it possible to have love without justice, y'all? Do you hear this? You see what he's saying? They must be brought to justice for the atrocities committed, the crimes committed, period. If we are the descendants of the original inhabitants of this land, there's gonna be justice. There's gonna be justice, y'all. And the Most High is gonna provide that justice. We don't have to provide our own justice at all. But there can be no love. So when you get a European descendant and they're saying they love us, will help be a part and parcel of getting this information out, support my channel, support my movement, support my people in any kind of way you can. That's how you show love, because there must be justice before love. Even though you didn't commit the crimes, hey, neither did we. Neither did we participate in the sufferance of back then, but also you got to look at it as we suffer right now. 70 years later, 100 years later, 150 years later, we are still in the same conditions. The next history build I'm going to do is on the Industrial Revolution, and I'm also going to be doing a history build on the Great Depression, because somebody said something about the Great Depression in my stream yesterday. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. But right now, the brother said, and people have to understand, Indigenous, Aboriginal, in the brother said, and people have to understand, Indigenous Aboriginals are different from Native Americans. They're two different things, and yes, that's a big fact, y'all. Now that's something I see a lot with the Aboriginals, or that's what I see a lot, that we're trying to appropriate this culture from these $5 Indians and these pretendians and these Asian immigrants. We're trying to appropriate their culture. But in all actuality, we have our own culture. Our culture hasn't been watered down. It hasn't been washed away. All we have to do is get out and live on the land and be free, and it'll just all come back to you. It's because we are not used to living by European laws. We are not used to going through the same thing Europeans did out there in Europe. All this sickness, all this congested cities, communities. Man, just watch the beginning of the video, man. I touched on all that, y'all, and touched on them even showing and proving how we were migratory people. Y'all always hear me say that the indigenous people of America were migratory people. We didn't stay still. We roamed, just like they described those Berbers over there in North Africa. You get people that roam who don't stay still. That's why they describe us as having gypsy blood in us and stuff like that. Just peeps.
That we think too much in terms of charity, in terms of Thanksgiving Day baskets, in terms of Christmas baskets, and not in terms enough of eliminating poverty.
The migrants are back in Belgrade, winter quarters, after months of travel and work. One said he brought back $1.65. Another said $6. Another said we broke even. We were broke when we left, broke when we got back. We asked them what they thought.
After going to go do months of work, months away from their family, they said they had broke even or had a few dollars in their pocket. That's the thing I'm talking about.
What they could do to help themselves. And they said nothing. What can we do? Last week, a presidential committee made up of the Secretaries of Labor, Agriculture, Interior, and Health, Welfare, and Education made certain recommendations regarding the migrants. Here are some of them. Extend child labor laws to cover agricultural workers. Eliminate residence requirements so that migrants will be eligible for health, education, and welfare programs. A federal law requiring crew leaders to register, thus protecting migrants from exploitation. Extension of workmen's compensation laws to agriculture. New housing regulations. States to pay local school boards for the education of migrant children. There will, of course, be opposition to these recommendations. Too much government interference, too expensive, socialism. Similar proposals have been made before. In fact, 150 different attempts have been made in Congress to do something about the plight of the migrants. All except one has failed. The migrants have no lobby. Only an enlightened, aroused, and perhaps angered public opinion can do anything about the migrants. The people you have seen have the strength to harvest your fruit and vegetables. They do not have the strength to influence legislation. Maybe we do. Good night and good luck.
Pardon self, pardon self. I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was my live commentary of the harvest of shame. I hope y'all didn't hear my bestie snoring in the background. You know what I'm saying? Towards that second half of the video. But if she did, oh well, we're gonna be up past it anyway. She fell asleep. She was in there moderating and stuff. But shout out, what's up? What's good? What's great? Me sell only the wise. What's good? What's great? Fly birdie in the building. What's good, man? Yeah, that was the but anyway, let me see. That was the end of that bill. That was the end of that. How long did we clock in? We've been in here for about 2 hours. And I wanna since what time is it? It's barely 3:20. I wanna go over something else. I wanna go over this with y'all. Check this out. See if the reason why I want to show this, if you got somebody you like that you're getting information from, useful information from, or you got a YouTuber that you know you find interesting or whatnot, and you start to be part of the YouTube fam and stuff like that, you gotta protect these people. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm talking to my subscribers. Man, I'm gonna drop some shit that's gonna make them come arrest me. That's gonna make them come harass me, make them gang stalk me every time. Y'all know I am, and that's exactly what they do. And so when I dropped this video, I was looking through the videos earlier trying to find something I wanted to build on today. Oh, the harvest of shame. When I dropped this video, look, I dropped this Nipsey Hussle video, right? This Nipsey Hussle live video. And I was scared already to talk about Nipsey Hussle's death in this video. So I dropped this video and then I went to jail the very next morning. I dropped that at night. I went to jail the next morning. I'm going to play that. But y'all should have known when I said this. Look. Y'all should have been already knowing. Look, that's when I went to jail. That's when my ex got on there. Okay, look. This one, the apartment being entered. And then the next one you see we got nah, I'm totally unfamiliar with that term. You said only the wise. I'm totally unfamiliar with that term. I don't know what body is. Is that some kind of LGBT thing? Now, I just want to say this for y'all that's viewing. Y'all getting a sneak peek into the past. This is Indigenous Realist right here on the screen. You know what I'm saying? This is me. I'm Chief Sebi Indigenous. Higher power back in the booth. And you know what I'm saying? This is Indigenous Realist in here. My last manifestation. You know what I'm saying? My other avatar. And so what I'm finna show you is that people should have been looking out for Indigenous Realists way back then. When I'm saying, look at the title of this video. Apartment is being entered when we leave. What the F? You know what I'm saying? Apartment is being like nobody checked on me. Like Indigenous Realist was gone. How long Indigenous Realist stayed off YouTube? 8-9 months. Nobody sent me an email. Nobody hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, anything. And now my Instagram, Facebook, all that is gone. You get what I'm saying? But right here is the reason why my Facebook is gone and everything. This is the reason why. Listen to this. And I'm gonna be narrating it so y'all know. But this is what happened to Indigenous Realists. Y'all see the next video over. It's called RIP Indigenous Realists. Hey, I'm over here at the apartment and I've been thinking everything going weird. But shit, my wife like a big part of the was now why are you doing that? They know who you are, bro. Because why not? Or you don't want them seeing you because they Oh wow. Wow, I just played the wrong video, y'all. That video, that's too deep for y'all. A lot of y'all are new to the channel. I know Fly Birdie probably seen that video. She's probably familiar with my little situation, everything that happened. But yeah, y'all not. I don't want to show that video. But I'm gonna play this one. This is when I was getting harassed by the police. And then I'm finna mess y'all up. I'm finna go to another YouTube channel that I had before I even started YouTube. And I just hurry up and uploaded a few videos to document some police harassment that was happening. Now watch this. Where do I say it at? Police call. Okay, it's gonna say the police call. I don't know where it's at. Did that video get deleted? If y'all see, I got a bunch of content on there, but all the ones you see with the locks on them, that gray square, that means y'all can't see them out there. So whenever you see me post something and it says Indigenous Realist Rewind, that's gonna be some of that stuff you see with locks on it. The video is gone, y'all. Oh, police just called. They are tracking my location. Okay, now look at here. I found it. It's a rare treat. Y'all should have been protected. Like y'all should have reached out to Indigenous Realists around this time. Police are in on it, y'all. That's community. That's communities policing or gang stalking, as it's also called. I'm so sorry for the ad. My bad, y'all. Hold on, I'm trying to get the video to play. It's buffering really bad. Okay, here it goes. Oh shoot. Okay, here it goes. Here it goes. Two 23 a.m. It's 2:23 a.m. Revolts Police Department just called me out of nowhere saying that my phone number just called them and reported an emergency already. Now look, y'all. When I'm looking, notice the looking around movements I'm doing and stuff. Like, dude, I was suffering from psychosis. Like, there was so much going on around me, so much harassment, so much gang stalking was going around. Just pay attention to how I'm acting, y'all, and then compare that to the numerous videos I have. Just look how I'm acting. That hair LL, bring it back. Yeah, I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back. It's growing. I'm just testing out the color spectrums right now. You know what I'm saying? Seeing what frequencies I get when I'm out there sunbathing, when I'm out there sun gazing and moon gazing, moon bathing and stuff like that. But yeah, let me press play. It's growing back pretty quickly. I cut it all the way bald. Some Africans hated on me and cut it all the way bald back in September. So it's growing pretty quick. And it's goddamn 2:23, 2:23 a.m. It's 2:23 a.m. Revolts Police Department just called me out of nowhere saying that my phone number just called them and reported an emergency at my residence. We in here, we in here resting. They woke me. Oh shit. My bad. I didn't have the mic on. I was finna say watching this video kind of makes me sad, y'all. Like because that what y'all seeing on camera, the looking around, always watching my back, to getting harassed by the police, to getting harassed by neighbors, to getting harassed by pedestrians, to truck drivers, to people in large trucks, color coordinated. Like that's the type of stuff I was going through. They were trying to drive me. If you don't know about gang stalking, that's what the second segment is gonna be about. And I'm finna change the title. But this second segment is gonna be about gang stalking. So let me go change the title real fast. It's gonna be about gang stalking. So anyway, let me press play and just hear it out. All I'm saying is like this should bring awareness to truth givers here on internet, here on in your real life, like people that think different and speak different and talk different and see things different from the way you do, that you get information from. You need to protect those people. You get what I'm saying? As far as like making sure you hear from them. You get what I'm saying? It's not creepy to check on a YouTuber. It's not creepy to ask a YouTuber, hey, how are you doing? How's your family? Hey, you get what I'm saying? Like these are, I don't know about the rest of these guys, but I'm logos. You know what I'm saying? I'm a logos manifest. You know what I'm saying? So when I put up a logo, when I put up a avatar, which is a logo, when I put up an avatar on screen, that's just a manifestation of me. You get what I'm saying? So protect that avatar. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a direct line to me. But anyway, let me my children, my wife up. I ain't gonna show their faces. I ain't gonna show they y'all know my children, my wife called out of nowhere and said they reporting number, no phone number. Said that and get my top is being shared. I don't know who I don't know who the hell got in my phone, police department. I don't know if it was Fort Worth. I don't know. See, I'm on there name dropping the agencies who are harassing me and stuff. I'm on there name dropping them. This second half is going to be like gang stalking awareness and about empaths and narcissists and things of that nature, y'all. So let me see. Can I edit while I'm still here on live? Let me go right here. Let me edit this real fast. But I'll play the video. But notice I'm gonna actually name the police agencies who are harassing me. You know what I'm saying? Like put it out there because I was trying to get people to if something happened to me, which something did, and if I disappeared, which I did, I was hoping that people would, call around, look for me. But it's all cool. And I went by Indigenous Realist in jail also. You know what I'm saying? That's what the guards called me and stuff. So they knew who was there, but you know what I'm saying? He passed, but she's Sebi in the booth. She's Sebi Indigenous. Higher power back in the booth. But they don't know my address and they want my address. And I look at the top of my screen. I got an iPhone and my location is one. Oh shoot. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to pause it. But I want you to see that, man, they turned on my location. I remember back then they turned on our location and everything. That was crazy. Said that I had emergency here at the residence, but they don't know my address and they want my address. And I look at the top of my screen. I got an iPhone and my location is being shared while I'm on the phone. I don't know who. I don't know who the hell got in my phone. I don't know if it. Now, I just thought about something. My vibrations are high. You know what I'm saying? Here lately. And I'm not going through what I was going through back then. And I'm Chief Sebi Indigenous. And Indigenous Realist manifested to save, a little boy named Alan. And he saved him and that shit dead. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do for y'all, we're gonna actually build on something else. Let me see. Right here. We're gonna look into Western esotericism. Now I uploaded these videos and put them on lock last night because um I'm gonna be going over them anyway. I'm gonna be commentary, having commentary on them. But we're gonna look at Western esotericism. Look at Western esotericism. Matter of fact, we're gonna do that later. This is what we got for y'all today.
According to esoteric teachings, to have originated at the dawn of the universe's manifestation in the Supreme Being who sent out from the unmanifested absolute beyond comprehension, the dynamic force of creative energy as sound vibration, the word, into the abyss.
Okay, cool. I don't know how long y'all could hear that playing in the background, but I could hear it playing in the background. But oh, okay. No, I was just about to say, look, I'm about to go ahead and get off the stream. I've been on here 2 hours and some change. I'm gonna go ahead and get off the stream. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, this was a wonderful bill. We basically what we did here in this bill, we looked at life in the 60s for the Aboriginal and for the European, the immigrant. You get what I'm saying? And they didn't refer to them as blacks. They didn't refer to them as African Americans. They didn't refer to them as any of that. They kept calling them migrant workers, and they showed how they were pushing them all around the Americas and having them work that way. I mean, making them forced migrations. You get what I'm saying? To go chase work. And you have a European descendant on there saying that he went 1,600 miles in search for employment and things of that nature. And it's just like, let me make sure nobody's commenting anything in the chat. I don't want to leave anything. Thanks for building with us. Indeed, money, love. Fly Birdie say fire. Indeed, Fly Birdie. That hair, love, bring it back. Indeed. Let me see. Melanin Moan said Indigenous Aboriginal was the beginning. They were in tune with the land and animals. That's what I want to say. Now, on a closing note, This is what I would like to drop this jewel on just the Aboriginal culture. You know what I'm saying? In general, just the indigenous culture in general, just our people in general. I just want to say that we've always been a migratory people. We've always been seafaring people. We've always been hunter gatherer type people. Period. We've always been like that. We always were migratory. We always never stayed stationary. We always never accumulated things that we couldn't take with us and things of that nature. That's just how it was. Then you look at how we are now, staying so stuck. Anything that stops moving completely, that's a lack of vibration, right? That's a lack of vibration. So if you got low vibration, the lower and lower and lower your vibrations go. Look, we started off as celestial beings, right? Pardon me. I should have cut the mic off. We started off as celestial beings. Um, we we started off as celestial beings. Now, the slower our vibrations began, the more and more material we became. We became. You get what I'm saying? So when we are all the way materialized, when we vibrated so low that we were materialized in the human flesh, we're on a low vibration already, period. The only how you get in high vibrations is by opening yourself up for cosmic solar energies, spiritual energies. You get what I'm saying? And that's where people catch the Holy Ghost and things of that nature because they're getting spiritual energies inside of them. And people, same thing with voodoo and all those different types of pagan cultures also. Or I hate to use the word pagan, but you know what I'm saying? When I say pagan, I mean primitive. And just to say, man, just hey everybody, keep y'all heads up. Hey, this was a good build, man. Great to have y'all up in here, man. Thank everybody for coming. I don't even know what I was talking about, y'all. I had got zoned out because I'm just thinking like this shit is so simple. Just gotta open our eyes up and see. We can't let them. We can't be fooled anymore. We can't be bamboozled anymore. None of that. None of that. Hey, all right. This is what I want to talk about. I want to build with y'all. I don't gotta show no videos or anything. I shut that screen down. Um, yeah, I shut that screen down completely. This is what I want to build on really fast. And I just want to change the title because somebody may need to hear this and they may just pass it up because they don't want to learn about 60s European culture. But just this last couple minutes, somebody may need to hear this. You get what I'm saying? So let me switch the title to my stream real fast. And I'm finna go in on something. My bad. In the meantime, yeah, I could play a little something for y'all on YouTube. In the meantime, because I want to keep it rolling while I'm looking for what I'm looking for. I mean, while I'm trying to change the title of this video, I'll play this real fast. So hold on. Find it. There go YouTube. Hold on real fast. I'm finding it. For those of y'all that don't have your notification bells turned on all, make sure you subscribe, turn your notification bells on all. You are tuned in to Chief Sebi Indigenous. This is my avatar. This is my avatar, also known as Indigenous Realist, the Realist. This is Sebi Indigenous, Chief Sebi Indigenous, the Noble. So we had Indigenous Realist, the Realist manifest first. Now we got Chief Sebi Indigenous, the Noble. Okay, boom. See, I just want to show y'all an example though. So let me go back to here. Let me press back one time. Okay. Hopefully the mic is on. Okay, yeah, the mic is on. My bad. I'm finna start screen sharing. sharing my screen. I'm gonna get told off. Nah, man, I didn't got my upload. I understand that I can't slip. I can't slip. I can't open up my channel to just no random energies. I gotta protect my energy. I gotta protect my viewers' energies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't acting weird or nothing. Like, y'all know I'm big on that. Like, y'all never seen anybody come on my channel, or y'all never seen me like have this many moderators as I was having and stuff ever. Well, y'all never seen Indigenous Realists do it. So Chief Sebi just gotta learn from the master. You know what I'm saying? I gotta learn from self. Anyway, my bad. I'm just sitting here looking at myself talking. Um, let me go. Let me see. How do I want to do it? Okay, look, we got Indigenous Realists. Indigenous Realists. That's what you type in. If you want to get to my channel, type in Indigenous Realists. Well, and we have the, let me do a breakdown. Let me do a breakdown for my channel art for y'all. That'll be neat, right? That'll be neat, y'all. Let me check. Let me check back. Make sure I'm screen sharing everything. Okay. Make sure y'all ain't seeing nothing y'all shouldn't be seeing for the folks at home. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Now let's see. I'm finna change the title. I'm finna play y'all something real fast. All right, look, I'm finna play a video real fast while I go switch the title to this video real fast. I'm switching the title. Man, y'all can be patient. Just be patient with me for like 60 seconds. Title. Okay. My bad, y'all. I should have. I just realized it took me a long time, so I should have. But it should have changed. Let me see. That should have changed the name of the video. So maybe y'all can't see it. We can't see it right here. But let me. Oh shoot! Now I'm just gonna go straight to breaking down my channel art. Now look. Now this is probably weird. You probably like, why he want to break down his channel art? Why he want to build on his channel art? Because it means something to me. It's channel art, not just look. Art always means something. All right. Now, let me bring it up. Now, y'all all know when you go to my channel, my avatar right now on YouTube is this, right? This picture. Now, y'all probably like, Chief Sebi, what does this picture have to do with anything? That picture is actually symbolism. It's actually my unique way of showing myself, my unique way of expressing my uniqueness through art. Does that make any sense? Like, art is something that's primitive. Like, art has always been around. People people have been doing art, making sculptures, building things for ages. So when I'm an artist, y'all. I can draw portraits or whatever. I'm gonna draw this logo. A matter of fact, I'm gonna draw my avatar because it's actually a full picture that I created with the app. Now, if you see, there's you see the word avatar, and you see the word manifest. But on the full picture, there's a third word also. There's a third word. Now, let me see. We may be able to see it up here. Oh shoot. Nope, don't want to do that. Excuse me. Pardon me, y'all. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I'm finna be able to bring it up because I'm on the laptop. So look at this. This is what I want to show y'all. And this is okay. I'm not gonna actually change it. I'm just gonna put this up here. These people on this picture, I had that as my channel art for a second. And it's cool that I can pull it up here on this laptop. Okay. This is my uncle. This is my aunt. This is an aunt. That's an aunt. That's an aunt. That's an uncle. That's my mother. And that's my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? All copper tone, original, indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? And I got I'll be able to share some more pictures and stuff with y'all one of these days. Not today. I don't have them on this device. Y'all just met the fam, you know what I'm saying? Okay. That's telling me I've been on here for too long. It's time to get up off of here. Wow, y'all didn't even see none of that? Yeah, it's time for me to get up off here, man. Much love, peace, everybody.